Ask and ye shall receive. Welcome back to another Age of Empires video. Today we're looking at the news that they've released yesterday that we now have an action plan. We have a timeline of what they're going to do. Not with any definitive dates, but at least it's something. So if we complain enough, we do get some response. Whether they had this made before we all made our videos is a different matter entirely. So, what's next for Age of Empires? We released it on the 28th of October, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, thank you for joining us, we're listening to your feedback, yada yada yada. Fine, we'll assume you're listening to us. With our first patch officially released earlier this week, it is now time to turn our attention to what we'll be introducing in the future. Read on to get a quick glimpse at some of our plans for winter 2021 and spring 2022, as well as some feature requests that the team are tracking based on your feedback. That's kind of nice to hear, and when we get down to them, I'm sure you'll be pleased. So, first thing is we get a little look at the roadmap. At least they've given us this plan, you know. I'm not sure why they've put their little patch on there. It was a hot fix, but they're now trying to big it up as a massive patch. I think they're stretching that a little bit, so let's just brush that off to the side and pretend it's not there. Then we got the Winter 2021 update. Over 100 balance updates. I should hope so. In-game player scores. Hallelujah. I know it's not what everyone wants, but, you know, it's nice to have the option to turn it on. And in custom games and against the AI, you know, it's not affecting the game. It's not showing you how the other person's playing. I can understand it not being there in ranked. Fair enough. Bug and performance fixes. I should damn well hope so. Chinese Dynasty UI changes. It's a small change, which is going to be helpful, but I'm not sure why it needs its own prominent section on that card, but whatever. Minimap adjustments, great, because it's still not perfect. It's still hard to see what's going on sometimes. Then in spring 2022, we're getting a UCG creation tools, so our mod tools basically. They're going to put in patrols. I'm not quite sure what they mean by that. I need to look that up myself. Balance updates and bug and performance fixes. Great, so we'll still be getting more of those in spring, but I kind of would have hoped that anyway. Seasons begin, so we're going to be getting ranked seasons in Age of Empires 4, and we'll talk about that more in a minute when we get down to the text on it. And then they talk about more to come, which is probably relating to these features they're talking about adding. So let's scroll down. And so here we go, we got our patch. Yeah, brag about your patch, it didn't do much. We'll skip on from that. In winter 2021, we'll be introducing hundreds of balance changes, literally, a variety of helpful bug fixes, and a few key features we've seen requested by players. Our team has been hard at work preparing this update, and we're appreciative to the community for lending your voices to the conversation. Good, that's nice to know. Now, here's a sneak peek of some of the goodness we're queuing up for 2021. Make the choice to turn on and view in-game scores. Based on community feedback, which people have been talking about since the beta, so nice of them to finally pay attention. They're going to add it in custom lobby multiplayer and skirmish matches, so you can choose whether you want to enable it or not. You don't have to have it on. And it's obviously not going to be in the ranked or random matches or, you know, quick match. We've moved the Chinese Dynasty button and user interface to a less prominent position on the screen. You'll now find it in the lower left hand corner. Fair enough. Still not sure why it needed its own thing on the card. The ability to view the map post-match is something that we've asked for. So they're going to make changes to allow you to do that. So in the winter update, you'll be able to look around the map after the game's finished, and then go and look at your stats. And then in spring, they're working on a way to both view the map and then view the stats, and then go back to the map and then go back to the stats. And they're making refinements to the in-game minimap to improve readability, and that's coming in winter 2021 as well. So hopefully within the next month or so. Improvements include reducing the size of icons, ensuring that the wonder icon on the minimap matches the icon displayed in the HUD, increasing the size of the primary town centre in comparison to other landmarks, and adjusting the colour of certain resources. Great, so things will be more visible. For balance and bug fixing, we've got loads of changes to share with you in our release notes when this update lands, but here are a handful of adjustments that the balance team is particularly excited about. The French Hulk ship tweaked to no longer rule the high seas. Now, as much as I've played as the French, I do think their Hulk ship is a little bit ridiculous. To get that so early in the game when no one else does, it gave them immense power in the water and no one could really compete with them. So to have it tweaked, I'm curious what that tweak is. In the grand scheme of things, they may as well have just gotten rid of it and, made that one an arrow ship as well. I don't know. Or maybe they're just going to make it do a lot less damage. Crossbowmen, spearmen, and elite crossbowmen will pose a greater threat to cavalry. So hallelujah, cavalry are very strong in the game right now. So spearmen in particular seemed a little bit weak against them sometimes, so it's nice to see that they're going to hopefully up the damage of these units to deal with cavalry a bit more. Significantly reducing the cost of the Chinese civilization's repeater crossbow. Fine. I mean, I think it is cheaper than a normal crossbowman anyway, but yeah, it's not being used much in games, so they probably do need to reduce the price a bit. Fix the HRE prelate unit to allow them to continue inspiring after being pushed. So is that what caused this issue? So there's been a bug in the game since the beta where the prelate unit would stop inspiring units automatically. And apparently it's after they've been pushed. That's interesting. Mongol superior mobility adjusted to ensure the speed modifier is appropriately applied. Thanks to the community for calling this out. I think the community's called out most of these. That's just because we complain about that one a lot. Fix issues for the Rush civilization to eliminate the infinite relic duplication. Still should have been in this latest hotfix. I still think that should have already been fixed. But on to spring 2022. Age of Empires, like other titles within the globally beloved franchise, offers many ways to engage. So coming in 2022, they'll be adding user-generated content and tools allowing you to bring your ideas to life. Not a mod maker yourself, no worries, you can still enjoy the work of others. That kind of goes with the territory of mods, doesn't it? Sampling their vision for unique maps, modes and more. This will provide just another way to truly make history your story in Age of Empires. I want a tower defense map. That's what I want to see. I always love a tower defense map in these types of games. Spring 2022 will also see the start of ranked seasons, so those of you who are enjoying playing head-to-head 1v1s, 2v2s, 3v3s and probably 4v4s, I assume that ranked will span all of them. You'll be able to climb the ladder, earn in-game rewards based on your performance. So, the usual crowd will get all the rewards and the rest of us won't get anything probably. Hopefully they'll give us something if we just take part in the rankings. We'll also be finalising some minor improvements to the post-game map in spring 2022 and introducing the patrol move that you've been asking for, as well as exploring the inclusion of other features and fixes based on your feedback. So looking forward, while we're committed to bringing about the feature changes highlighted above, we're also spending time with what our players are saying they want to see in Age of Empires. So your feedback will help as we continue, and we are actively looking into the following options. Global build queue. We know this is a feature many of you have enjoyed in previous Age titles and would like to see it in Age of Empires 4. Improvement to the unit stats card. Yes, please. Based on your feedback, we're looking into how we can better serve up the most meaningful stats at a glance. Yeah, that would be lovely. At the moment, I just don't feel like I'm getting the information I want when I hover over a unit card. It's not obvious. You have to really stare at it to get what you want. Hotkey improvements for the pro players. I can't admit to using hotkeys. I don't really use many. Maybe the odd one to jump back to my base. But, hotkey improvements are really important, and the options to change all the hotkeys should really be there. It shouldn't be limited to a certain amount of them. Taunts and cheats, part of the Age legacy? You're damn right it is. We're exploring what these elements would look like and sound like in Age of Empires 4? Well, it's about insert expletives here time, because I was actually quite devastated when I booted up the final game for the first time and tried to do a sound taunt and got no feedback from the game. That was extremely disappointing. I just don't grasp why the taunts weren't in immediately. Even the basic ones, you know, Wallalow and stuff like that, there was no reason that those weren't in the game. I don't know why they left those out. It just feels very... we couldn't be asked. AI difficulty, good, they've listened. We've heard the AI could use some tuning, specifically making easy AI less aggressive and boosting the challenge of the hard AI. Great. Waypoint indicators, hallelujah. Another quality of life feature from previous Age titles. We know this is something many of you want to see return to Age of Empires 4. I mean, I kind of hope that waypoint indicators isn't going to take you, 6 months to implement. It shouldn't be that hard, surely. Thank you again, each and every one of you have helped us bring about the dawning of a new age. The journey's only just begun, and we continue to monitor your feedback to create the best possible Age of Empires 4 experience with you. Well, part of me hopes they're being honest with that. We will see with the coming patches. I think they've got a lot of balance changes to make, so I can understand that taking a while. I'm a little bit frustrated that they haven't hotfixed some of these other game-breaking bugs that really need to be looked at. And I'm a little bit frustrated that, they're giving themselves a pat on the back for releasing what was, to the community as a whole, a rather disappointing hotfix. But yet, it's prominent in their roadmap, and they've given themselves a nice pat on the back at the start of all this. I think, the team have done a good job to get a good foundation down, but this is a AAA title. You can't keep releasing AAA titles in the states that they're being provided in. If I went and bought a board game at the supermarket or, the comic book store or the board game store, wherever, and it had 3 pieces missing that were integral to the game, I'd take the damn thing back and want a replacement. I wouldn't just go, I'll wait 3 months to play it, so you've sent me those parts back out. There's a brilliant video which I think is done... what's his name? He's the guy who does the interviews on YouTube. He does like the... There's a guy on YouTube who does videos, and he's done a brilliant one comparing board games to video games. It's like if board games were like video games or something like that. It's really funny. He's the guy who does all of the pitch meetings for different movies and things. He just has a conversation with a different version of himself. He's quite funny, but there's one that's really funny that's about, how ridiculous video games are with all their DLC and needing patches and everything else, compared to, how you would treat it if it was a board game. It's really funny. I recommend going to watch it. Anyhow, that's the end of our roadmap post. At least we've got a bit of information there. We'll see how it goes. Thanks very much for watching. Please do like, share and subscribe as always, and I'll see you soon for some more Age 4 videos.